Hello and welcome to erpwebtutor.com. This is Harideep, and this is the introductory session for our Oracle Self-Service Human Resources video training. So in this section, we will just talk about the basics of self-service, like we use self-service human resources, what are the benefits of using it, and what are the key things that we can perform using self-service. So this session will follow the videos of the setups in Oracle Human Resources so that we can configure the Oracle self-service. So before we do that, I thought that it would be a good idea to give you an overview of what self-service human resources is. So that's why we have this presentation. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. So the first thing we need to know when we are using self-service is that why we use it. So there are certain points that actually strengthens the necessity of using self-service in any process, in any company. Like self-service, as the term suggests, is doing something for yourself, or doing something uh, like someone or your manager is doing something on behalf of his subordinates. So it's doing service yourself. So and the good thing is that like any self-service process is going to use a web browser to access information, which is very handy. And also it is a completely secure and it has direct access to the systems. Of course, it improves service in a way that it reduces the lot of data entry on the part of the human resources team. Like imagine a big company like Google, like they have thousands of employees in one location, not even considering their global presence. They have like thousands of employees in a single location. So imagine the amount of data that resides in the system, and if you assign the human resources team to manage and update and create this entire data, it's going to be a daunting task for the human resource team. So it definitely improves the service of the entire company by making the data entry process kind of distributed across different employees of the company. So it's not just just a data entry job for the human resource team, but it in a way it improves the service because it empowers the managers and the employees themselves to do a lot of data entry on behalf of the human resource team. So that way it improves the service. Now it's automated process. Like, so let's see why do you think it is automated process? Because let's say an employee gets married. Now if there is no self-service, he is going to go to the human resource department, file some paperwork, to update his information in the system. Instead, if you have self-service, the employee can log in, go to his own information, and just change certain information on his for his personal record that can be approved or notified to the concerned person. So in a way, we are the leveraging this whole idea of the data entry process by enabling or allowing the users or the employees of the company to do a lot of data entry work instead of the human resource team. So now it compresses cycle times, like for the same reason we just mentioned, and it also reduces operating cost. Of course, if you have thousands of employees and you want the HR team to do all this data entry for all these thousands of employees, it's going to be a lot of people you're going to need to get things done in time. Of course, it lowers the staffing requirements for selected tasks, and the process flow is managed by the workflow engine. This is the Oracle workflow that is behind this whole thing. And the status of the process can be monitored using Workflow Monitor. So there's something that's called the Workflow Monitor, and when the process starts, the sysadmin or whoever has got the right access can actually monitor the process. So if if a certain thing is stuck for a long time, let's say you submit some changes, it is sitting with your supervisor and the supervisor is on leave, and so that's why the process cannot move forward. So that can be monitored using the workflow monitor, and then it can be expedited or it can be rerouted to a different person. So all these cool things are available in the self-service module. Now, these are the different things that you can perform. These are just a piece of the whole thing. So you can change your personal and professional information. You can do job applications using, like if you have iRecruitment, you can apply for jobs. So you can do appraisals, employees appraisals. You can do suitability matching, like if you are trying to hire someone from a huge database of all the job applicants, you can search for the right candidate. You can promote an employee, you can do the recruitment process, and you can do different kind of compensation, like you can change the salary of an employee, so all kinds of things. Now, the key features are you can access to the employee records is controlled by configurable security rules. So you can, of course, every company has their unique needs. So, and it is highly configurable, this Oracle self-service process. So let's say a company wants to allow its managers to perform certain changes in the assignment, like changing job and changing the supervisor, but doesn't want to allow the managers to make pay changes. So those kind of things can be controlled. Like if you are in some place, the managers can need some kind of power to make these changes, or some kinds of the screens to make the changes. You can of course configure those screens to allow or disallow the managers to perform certain actions. Now, employees view and maintain their own personal and professional information. We just mentioned that. And data maintenance is in the hands of the data owners. And also changes subject to HR or manager department approval as required. So it's highly configurable in a way that you can also dictate the approval process. So you can, if you are the business analyst planning to implement the self-service HR, you are going to talk to the client and get their needs of what kind of approval process they need for different processes. They can have different kinds of approval process for different processes. Like for change job, they have a different kind of approval process. Say for changing salary, it needs a different kind of approval. So you can configure the approvals based on the client's needs. So those are the key features of self-service HR. Now, let's see. Of course, when you have self-service HR, you have your core HR, which is the professional interface HR applications, and then on the side you have Oracle self-service human resources. Now, the professional interface is, of course, it doesn't have any approval. It's a entry and save, so it's mostly used by the HR professionals, whereas the self-service is open to employees, managers, and HR professionals. And the interface has got complex transactions, and the self-service human resources got simple transactions. Like you can like for if you think of the assignment screen in the professional user interface, it has got a ton of things. It has got the organizations, it's got a job, the supervisor. It has got all the information in one screen, in different tabs, but it's one single screen with it can be fairly complex sometimes. So you are kind of breaking down those entire thing into different processes, and that automatically simplifies the transactions a lot. And for professional interface, you need to provide training. There are a lot of things that the HR professionals need to know about before they actually start using it. Whereas it's a web-based, the self-service is web-based. It's an intuitive interface, so no to minimal need for training. Now, it is completely integrated with self-service HR and professional interface. So as you can see here, so the employee does some actions, manager does some actions. This is a self-service user interface, and then finally it gets stored in the database tables. And then, of course, from the database tables, the HR administrators or the HR professionals can access those information on the professional user interface. Now, of course, this is workflow enabled, so you can do your stuff and it'll be notified. So this is the screen where you can actually see what kind of the flow that happens when a self-service process gets initiated and approved and then finally saved. So this is the workflow that is driving this whole self-service process. Now, of course, as I said before, it's a highly configurable interface, so you can do a lot of changes. You can change the sequence of the fields, you can hide fields, you can remove buttons, you can change the labels. So all these kinds of things. If you want to know what more about configuring these, the look and feel of the page, of course, you need to take a look at the documents on OA framework personalization, which is a very important thing when you are trying to work on self-service human resource. You need to know, you need to be able to do personalization. Sometimes they're simple, sometimes it can be complex, but that is something that you need to know. Just keep in mind that you have to be able to personalize the look and feel of the pages as per the client's needs. Now, there are two types of self-service in HR, the manager self-service and the employee self-service. So the manager self-service empowers a manager to make key changes to employees reporting to him, such as change pay, change job, terminate, etc. Of course, I mean, it depends on company. It varies from company to company. You know, some company doesn't let the managers do these kind of things. Like especially a smaller company, they would not let the managers, they can do, perform these kind of actions. Their HR team can manage things like that. And then again, the other is the employee self-service. This is the thing that empowers an employee to make updates on his own personal records. These are like trivial records such as update address, change the marital status, add dependents. So these information, just imagine, like you as an employee, if you're an employee of a company and you want to update your address, who is the best person to know about it? It's yourself. Whereas if you're getting a pay raise, it's your manager is the best person to know that what kind of raise you're going to get, why you are going to get the raise. So if you think in that terms, for the kind of information that you're actually updating, who is the best person to know those information right? If it is your address, it's going to be you. If it is going to be your salary, probably your manager. So those kind of things can be done using the manager self-service and employee self-service. So this is the last piece. These are the key components of self-service human resource, or SSHR. So as we said before, these are completely web-based screens, and these are built with OA framework technology using Oracle JDeveloper. Now with Fusion, they are changing the technology to something called ADF, Application Development Framework, still using Oracle JDeveloper. Now the next thing is, of course, if you are trying to get into the techno-functional role of Oracle Self-Service Human Resource, you need to understand workflow. So this is something called the Oracle Workflow Builder that is running behind the scene for all these processes. Everything that you're seeing on the screen on this browser, there is a workflow process that drives the flow of information and the approval process and the notification process. The entire flow of data till it is saved is actually controlled by the workflow. And if you're trying to be a technical person or a techno-functional, you need to have a good understanding of how Oracle Workflow Builder works. There are going to be separate videos for Oracle Workflow Builder, so we will talk about that later. Now the last part is approvals. That's again a very important concept in self-service human resource. Of course, when you are allowing managers to do certain changes, or you're allowing the employee to make changes, so you need to have your approvals configured. Now, how do we configure approvals in SSHR? it's going to be mostly AME, or Approvals Management Engine. So that's what we mostly use to configure um, the approval process or the notification process in Oracle Self-Service Human Resource. In the older days when there was no AME, we used to, we can still do that. You can actually configure your approvals in workflow as well. Oracle has given a custom package and that you can change to derive the approvers, in your own, as per your own requirement. And then even for AME, you are going to, for workflow approval process, of course, you're going to use PL/SQL functions packages. And also for AME, sometimes for creating a different kind of approval groups based on the company or client's rule, you are going to build some PL/SQL functions to get the right approver. So that pretty much covers the basics and often or the overview of our SSHR process. In the following tutorials, we will actually start doing hands-on. We will we will come up with the requirement from the client and what we need to do to set those up, and we will see the process. So the next tutorial, we will start doing the setups. So this is going to be the end of the overview video for self-service human resource. Just go through it. If you have any questions, please do post a comment on our website, www.erpwebtutor.com. And I really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy learning Oracle apps. Thanks.